This is me.
Just kidding. This is me.
My name is Amanda, and welcome to my podcast where I will be talking about pop culture, music, film, drama, and fan videos.
Hello, and welcome back to my channel, Always Popular. I'm Amanda, your host. So let's jump into the next episode. If you have previously watched any of my episodes or content, you will have noticed that I started off with a series called the Fall Series, where I talk about anything that has been released or has been happening so far this year, of course, during the fall. And also, I do want to put in a little announcement that recently I took a little short break, and that I will be doing a bi-weekly podcast and or a YouTube channel. So I will be doing episodes. I will be doing episodes every other Friday instead of every Friday. So for today, I will be introducing a new series called the Underrated series, where I talk about any public figure, whether if it's a band, a singer, politician, whoever, I believe doesn't get enough attention in the public eye. So without further ado, let's discuss together our first underrated guest on my series. If you pay any attention to boy bands as much as I do, you might recognize this person. But if not, that's okay. This is the Kevin Jonas story of the underrated brother. So here is 10 reasons why Kevin Jonas is underrated. His intelligence in his lifetime and career, Kevin has said some pretty intelligent things, and I feel that he gets taken for granted for all the things that he says. And most of them that I've paid attention to are about life lessons and personal ones. So I will mention a few personal favorites of mine. And so those are Living the Dream, where he actually mentioned that in where he mentioned that in the Living of the Dream series. And another favorite of mine is when he said, pray to God we are the type of rock stars people want to hang out with. And I kind of felt like that was kind of a very grounded thing for him to say. So I really like that, a life lesson that he actually gave. And another one would have to be practice as much as you can, and you practice as much as you can, and you'll never be perfect. And then for the last one, would be watch the mistakes from the people that you love the most. And so those would have to be a few of my favorite personal life lessons that he has mentioned as well. On the plus side, he is also an entrepreneur, and he's actually the most successful one in his family, because even after the band broke up, he actually started his own business on his own. So I would have to say that he's probably the most successful when it comes to being a businessman. So that's one of the reasons why I feel like he is underrated. Reason number 2 why he is underrated is because of his quotes. Just like his brothers, he has said some very memorable and also some very funny things that he has said in the past that I still even remember now. And there's quite a collection of very funny quotes that he has said.
How long has it been? You can practice as much as you can, and you will never be perfect.
Reason number 3. The worst thing about being in a band is being labeled as the boring one, or even worse, the ugly one, or possibly like unattractive. And unfortunately for Kevin's sake, he was labeled as both. And I remember growing up that all the hype was centered around his younger brothers, Nick and Joe. And because he wasn't like the lead singer, or wasn't like the center of the band, he was immediately like pinned and or called like kind of like the ugly or like the unattractive brother, and that really actually bothered me because the band is 3 people and not 2, and he always got treated as a sidekick to his brothers, and even growing up to having posters even personally on my own wall, he was always on the side or in the background in like photos. He was never like kind of like the center of like the band, and so he was kind of treated kind of harshly even by even certain people, you know, even if they say that they are fans, when really it's like, oh, it's like, yeah, I like Nick and Joe, but I don't like Kevin. It's like because he's, you know, like boring. I'm like thinking like, what? That's like so stupid. And one thing that doesn't even make any sense, and that's kind of, you know, silly and be honest, kind of stupid, is that how is it even possible for someone even like a supposed fan to say that 2 brothers are attractive, that are attractive, and the oldest brother not? They're brothers for crying out loud. They have similar genes, you know. So how can you even say that like 2 of them are good looking, and then like the oldest is not? They're all attractive. End of story. Or his musical talent. Just because Kevin doesn't sing lead, it doesn't mean he is not talented. He's still singing in the band. He does actually harmonize with his brothers when he's on stage, and he's also self-taught as well, and he still plays the guitar, and he also has the best dance moves in the band. So I feel like he gets actually underappreciated for his talent on stage. And also, for a bonus, is that he also composes the music alongside his brothers as well. And then moving on to reason number 5, his acting. The one thing that sucks the most about Kevin's acting is the characters that he has to play. Unfortunately, he always had to get like the lamest and the most boring characters, and somehow people believe that he's boring in real life for some reason. And number 6. His likable personality. I would have to say, you know, I would have to say, just like his brothers, he does have a likable personality. Kevin almost seems like he's very down to earth. He always seems like he's always, you know, that he's always, you know, he's always like put well together, laid back, charming. He's always really nice and always friendly to his fans. And so I can go probably on and on about like why he's likable, and also why, you know, and also why he's so like, you know, well liked by his fans. But I'm just gonna keep it at those reasons, because those are probably the most common reasons why everyone likes Kevin. Reason number 7 is that he's really funny. Now, the thing is that Joe may be labeled as the funny one. However, Kevin has a lot of funny moments as well.
History? Doesn't matter who it is. I bet you Albert Einstein was pretty cool to tour with. These days. No, I'm just kidding. See, I knew you would get a rise out of you on that one. That was fun. Okay. This is going to be like... The last...
A lot of romantic moments as well.
Like call or text until like 3 o'clock in the morning, because that's the first time we get off, or, you know, we're able to call. It doesn't mean we didn't think about you like all day long, you know? So...
Reason number 9 would have to be his fashion. Because whether if it was Kevin alone or once again, you know, with his brothers, he is always dressed up. He always has this classic and like fashion forward look. He's always wearing his sunglasses for the most part. And he always has this mature look to him, and he always looks very professional. And also like even if you are a fan of the brothers, that you could have, like me, you could have seen like kind of like their evolution over the years. They went from like t-shirt to jeans and being like and just dressed like normal teenagers to like wearing suits, you know, like the following year, maybe like around the time this was like 2009 maybe, when they started to have like a more professional, you know, looking brand. And then also like overall they have and overall they are actually like well dressed people. So I would always give them like an A for always looking, for always looking great. And then like even like like and even like like individually, like they always just look good. So I don't know if that's really because they love to dress up, or just because, or maybe some people would say that people do it for the cameras, but to be honest, it doesn't really matter. The point is they are always looking good, and they're always looking good, and especially I would say Kevin, they are always like on point with like what they wear. And the last reason, or the 10th reason, why Kevin is underrated is that I feel that Kevin is the most grounded and the most well put together brother out of all his brothers. And so I kind of feel like he's very wholesome, and for some odd reason, as much as like Nick and Joe are actually very relatable, I feel like Kevin is most relatable, and also the most down to earth. I feel like he always had a good head on his shoulders, and maybe that has to do with not being as like famous or being in like the spotlight as much as his brothers, because also as the years have gone on, I have heard some sad rumors that Nick could actually be kind of a little bit full of himself, and or maybe conceited, and that I've also heard that about Joe as well. But I'm glad that probably despite any of the rumors, I'm just glad that they probably hopefully are grounded in real life, and that also part of the reason why Kevin is underrated is probably being like probably the most well grounded, but that also could also be because he left like the band. Also because not that he left the band, but like my point is that because he's not thrust into like the spotlight or into the media as much as his brothers, it's probably easier for him to slide out of like the spotlight and then to live like the most normal life out of like all his brothers. And that wraps up the first installment and or episode of the Underrated series. And also just one quick announcement. I would like to say happy birthday, Kevin. Also, once again, thank you for listening and watching, and I will see you in the next episode.